Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Madison and this is Books with Theo. As you can tell by the title, today we are going to be going over my main tips and tricks for getting out of a reading slump, because I am in the largest reading slump ever. I am currently reading 3 different books, which I never do, and I haven't touched any of them in like a week. So without further ado, let's get into how I plan to curb this little reading slump and some ideas for you guys to try out too. First thing is I put the book down and I allow myself at least a day to not read or feel pressured to read. Thanks. Because reading is supposed to be fun and relaxing and a way to escape. It's not supposed to feel like a chore. And if you feel like reading is becoming a chore, you need to take a step back from the book you're reading. And if you still don't want to come back to it, maybe you soft DNF it, maybe you hard DNF it. You know, just put it down. Maybe it's not something that you're into at the moment. My second tip or trick that I use is I create a cozy reading environment, or the reading environment that I like. So for me, that is getting something warm to drink, and whether that's tea or hot chocolate or coffee, depending on the time of day. I'll grab myself a blanket that's warm and I will sit on the couch and I will play some lo-fi music in the background real quietly. I'll turn all the lights off except for my reading lamp. That works really well for me. You know, if your preferred reading environment is reading outside and you don't have the ability for whatever reason to go outside, maybe sit by a window. I find that when you put yourself in that mood, in that environment, you're more likely to enjoy what you're doing and kind of lose track of time. My third trick that I use, and this is mainly the one that I use, this is a huge one for me. I reread a book that I absolutely love. If I feel like I'm just starting books and starting books and starting books and I can't get into them, and I know it's a concept that would usually interest me, I go back to one of my past 5-star reads that's just a comfort read for me. I reread that and that'll always pull me out of that weird funk that I'm in when it comes to reading. So for me, that's the Angel Fire trilogy by Courtney Allison Moulton. Bless you, Theo. I really like the book Reawakened, which is book 1 of the Reawakened trilogy by Colleen Hawke. A new find for me is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. That has quickly turned into like one of my all-time favorite reads. So whatever your comfort read is, I would go for that. Whether it's your favorite 5-star book or just something that gives you the vibes that you feel most comfortable reading, do that and see if it can pull you out, because a lot of the times it can. It always works for me reading that 5-star book that I just, you know, no matter the time, no matter when, no matter if it's YA or adult, that book always hits. Fourth, if none of these have worked out for you, then I would say if you're in the middle of a book, put it down, because you're obviously not interested in it, and if it's putting you in a reading slump, and think of a trope that is your absolute favorite. Some people really like forbidden romance, some people like having magical elements in their books. There are a whole lot of different tropes, like bodyguard trope. Think of your favorite book or your favorite thing to read about, and if you have a Kindle and a Kindle Unlimited, there are thousands and thousands of books on here. You can find something. And you can find, for sure, 100% something that has that trope that will interest you. And just start reading that. Maybe it'll pull you out. Don't feel guilty or bad about the book that you left behind. You can come back to it. It's not the end of the world, and you don't need to feel bad about it. Because I feel like a lot of times as readers, we feel like once we start a book, we feel the need to finish it. or feel some type of way about getting so far into it. And we read for fun. That's the main thing. This isn't school, this isn't an assignment, this is something we do with our spare time. My fifth little trick is just don't read. I know this sounds weird and not helpful when getting out of a reading slump, but just hold off on reading. Don't force yourself to. Just take a break. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I haven't picked up a book in like a week and a half. I'm currently reading 3 books. I'm reading Pet Sematary by Stephen King, Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and I'm doing a reread of Embrace by Jessica Shervington. And honestly, after all this time, the only one that I'm feeling drawn to, and it just started today, is the reread. I think that might be what I do later on, is I might pick it back up. Don't set a time limit or a time frame for yourself. Don't feel intimidated. Maybe you need to do some book shopping to find what you want to read, and that's okay too. That's what libraries are for, because if you're in a reading slump, you might not want to go to the bookstore and pick out what you think might sound good to you or might get you out of a reading slump. Tip number 6, unless you and whether it's your best friend or your mom or somebody that you see on YouTube, doesn't matter who it is, if you are recommended a book, like, oh, this book will get you out of a reading slump 100%, but it doesn't sound good to you, don't read it. Because then you'll just feel worse about yourself if it's not something you're into, you don't like it, and it'll just put you further into that reading slump. Ultimately, when it comes to getting out of a reading slump, read a book that feels nostalgic. Get yourself in a setting where you feel calm and cozy, and you just get all those good feelings and those good vibes. Honestly, don't pressure yourself to read. If you feel like you need to take a break, then take a break, because reading should not feel like a chore. It should feel like an adventure. I hope this video was helpful for you guys who might be in a reading slump. If you have any other tips, tricks, if you have a certain way that always works for you for getting out of a reading slump, let me know in the comments. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.